Welcome. I want to talk for a few minutes about the problem of identity theft. There are 5 areas of identity theft. The first area of your identity is your driver's license identity. The second, your Social Security identity. The third, your medical identity. The fourth, your character or criminal identity. And the fifth area of identity theft is your financial identity. Let's first start with driver's license identity. When someone steals your driver's license identity, what they have done is taken your driver's license number and maybe had a DUI or DWI in your name. You discover it at a routine traffic stop when they want to haul you off to jail for not attending court. Well, you didn't know you had to attend court. Our driver's license is effectively our national ID system in all of the United States of America. When you show up at an airport, you're going to have your driver's license. And in fact, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, you could be fined in the state you leave from. And then you show up in another state, and when you go to get back on the plane, there's an outstanding warrant for you there. So that's your driver's license identity. Then there's your Social Security identity. Now, our Social Security number is used, as you well know, for a number of different things. But in this particular case, I want to talk about your Social Security identity being used by others, potentially an illegal alien or someone else, to earn income, and they may not pay the taxes on it. Now, that becomes relatively important down the line when you get a notice from the IRS that says that you owe additional taxes because you're in a different tax bracket. Recently, we've heard reports of people having 37, 38, 80, and 100 and more people using their Social Security number in 15, 20, even 30 or 40 different states. So there's your Social Security identity. Your third form of identity is your medical identity. In this case, somebody may use your Social Security number to actually get an AIDS test in your name rather than in their name. Now, that, for instance, could affect your ability to get a job. It could affect your ability to get insurance. Or they may want to steal your insurance benefits, which would affect your lifetime cap. If you had $1 million in lifetime coverage from your insurance carrier and they had a bad illness and used up $600,000 or $700,000 of it, obviously that would affect your insurance. Third thing is that they could use your medical identity in order to get into a hospital, and then you be saddled with the debt. They could have a procedure and you end up with $50,000 or $100,000 in debt as a result of them stealing your medical identity. And last, and probably worst, is the mixing up of their problems with your actual medical history could result in terrible reactions from you later on when you enter a hospital and they think you're a diabetic, for instance, or think you have heart problems and are on certain medications, and in fact you are not. The fourth area of your identity is your character or criminal identity. That's where someone assumes your name and or Social Security number and commits a crime in your name. They could commit a drug crime or a crime of prostitution. That is what character or criminal identity theft is. The fifth area of identity is your financial identity. And the thing to remember here is that what you hear is not, in fact, the truth. There is no such thing as zero liability. Most people do not find out about identity theft until 14 months after it occurs. And if someone creates a debt in your name and you do not deny that debt within 60 days, you, in fact, owe the money. So financial identity theft is becoming a very big deal as the banks begin to enforce what they call Regulation E, requiring you to pay the debt even though you did not create it, did not sign a single document, and did not get the money. You, in fact, end up having to pay it back. Let's talk for a moment about the Identity Theft Shield and who provides it. The first thing you need to know is who is doing the work. Kroll Background America has been around for over 30 years. Kroll does some of the forensic accounting for the FBI. They do some of the forensic accounting for the Securities and Exchange Commission, During the recent Enron trial, they in fact unraveled the partnerships for the SEC and the federal government in that prosecution. That's who we've got helping you, not a newfound company. Now, what do? First, they provide you with a credit analysis, a credit report. So you get the credit report, and they will help you understand what is in fact being reported on you. The second thing they do is continuous monitoring, so that they will monitor through Experian a number of things. Your change of address, for instance, would show up, any derogatory information that may show up on your credit report, any filings by the government, any new accounts being listed, those sorts of things. Now, if you have an active email account, they will send you an email if there is any change or activity reported on your credit file. One of the great things about this, if there's no activity, once a month, you'll in fact get an email that tells you that there's been no credit activity. The third major thing they do is true restoration, as we like to call it. They will do most of the work in helping you restore your identity if in fact it is stolen. Now, they require you to obviously file the initial police report and sign a limited power of attorney that allows them to go do most of that work. Now, that includes not just your credit history, but they will check your Department of Motor Vehicle or your driver's license identity in your local county. They'll also do a Medical Information Bureau file search or help you get that corrected if that needs to be done. They will also do an NCIC report, which is basically a report on your criminal identity. They'll go run through the national system and see if you're showing up as having committed crimes in other places. And they'll help you through the process of getting your identity, in fact, restored. Identity restoration applies for both you and your spouse. It obviously does not cover if you commit a crime yourself. As well, any pre-existing identity theft issues are not covered by this plan. This plan as well does not cover financial losses. It's one of the reasons that you want to have the plan to mitigate those losses, but it does not cover the actual losses. As well, obviously, your plan must be enforced. An identity restoration does not cover a business or business name or business identity theft. You do not have to remember what I've told you today. There's a great form that we have, a little booklet called the Identity Theft Sample Membership Kit. It's a 10 or 12 page document that lays out in detail all that we do. And I urge you to go get one of those documents, give it to your new members, because it really does in detail what we can't do in this couple of minutes, but shows how much in fact is required if your identity is stolen, and then how much in fact we do for you if that occurs.